domestic politics. It is about domestic politics as part of a much larger regional picture. Is Lebanon still an Arab state in the core of the Sunni Arab world? Or is Lebanon being sucked into the Iranian Shiite sphere of influence? We, like the Saudis, the Egyptians and Jordanians, want to keep Lebanon part of the Arab world. Israel now is a strange partner of the Sunni Arabs against the Shiites and the Iranians. But this alliance that we have with Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan against Iran and Shiite influence is an alliance that I call an alliance of anxiety. The Saudis, the Egyptians and the Jordanians are not nearly as confident as the Iranians and Hezbollah are about the future. Listen to how Ahmadinejad speaks.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم الحمد لله رب العالمین الحمد لله رب العالمین والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والنصر واجعلنا من خير أنصاره وأعوانه والمستشهدين بين يديه.
Listen to Nasrallah.
نحن شيعة علي بن أبي طالب لن نترك فلسطين.
This air, this aura of self-assurance, time is on our side. This is Shiite time. The Sunnis are in retreat. And they are hardly as confident and self-assured as the Iranians and their allies are. So Israel's allies in this regard, as I say, an alliance of anxiety, a rather weak reed. They can rely on Israel to stand up to Iran, I think a lot more than Israel can rely on them to do this.
Tzipi Livni. She has been Vice Prime Minister of Israel, and I think she served in 7 ministerial positions. I'm not going to say all of them, but she was the Foreign Minister, and I had the pleasure to work with her as when I was the Chief of Intelligence, serving the cabinet, and we were in some very important sessions, which very important decisions were taken. She was also the leader of the opposition from 2009 to 2012, and she is now with the Institute as a senior fellow, and she will be the keynote speaker. We opened the title, we left the title open, and she will take the lead. Thank you, Tzipi.
I congratulated Israel for killing Ahmad Jabri, who is the head of the terrorist organization of Hamas in Gaza Strip, the military. By the way, it's Hamas. You know, I think that when we relate to this terrorist organization, it's a terrorist organization. When we are talking about these, you know, leaders, and these are the army or the military. I know why you mentioned this, but I think that we need to, all of them need to take responsibility. It means nothing about what we need to do against them, but this is the way I see it. And the distinction between terrorist organizations and legitimate Palestinian partners is crucial, not only for the legitimacy of Israel to act against terror, but also in rebuilding the camp that used to be in the Middle East until a few years ago, and this was the camp of pragmatics that worked together against the camp of extremists. And all together we were there. I mean, it was Israel, Turkey, Jordan, Egypt, Mubarak's Egypt, the legitimate Palestinian government, and some Gulf states. With some we had relationship as Israel, with some we didn't, but we worked together in an understanding that we face the same nature of threat coming from the extremists in the region, the other camp that was and still is Iran, Syria, Hamas and Hezbollah.
Syria is an opportunity for us because Syria plays an important role in the Middle East, particularly right now. Syria is Iran's only ally in the Arab world. It's their route to the sea. It's the route for them to arm Hezbollah in Lebanon, which threatens, of course, our ally Israel. And so seeing Syria remove Assad is a very high priority for us. We need to make sure as well that we coordinate this effort with our allies, and particularly with Israel. But the Saudis and the Qatari and the Turks are all very concerned about this. They're willing to work with us. We need to have a very effective leadership effort in Syria, making sure that the insurgents there are armed.
And so everything we're doing in consultation with our partners in the region, including Israel, which obviously has a huge interest in seeing what happens in Syria, coordinating with Turkey and other countries in the region that have a great interest in this. What are Arabia going to do?
ما الذي تنوي السعودية القيام به؟ لماذا لا يساعدون الفلسطينيين بالمال وعلى المستوى السياسي؟ الأمر ليس كما يبدو، نحن لا نتسول لفتات تجاه إسرائيل. الحقيقة أنهم لا يريدون مساعدة أبو مازن ولا يريدون دعمه، بينما لديهم تريليونات الدولارات من أموال النفط الذي ندفع ثمنه جميعا، وهم لا يدفعون حتى موازنة السلطة الوطنية الفلسطينية، ناهيك عن الاستثمارات.
لولا أن الصورة والصوت يؤكدان أنه نائب وزير الخارجية الإسرائيلي داني أيالون الذي لا تزال بلاده تحتل الضفة الغربية بحسب القرارات الدولية لبدا الأمر شديد الغرابة. أيالون ينتقد رئيس المخابرات السعودية السابق تركي الفيصل خلال اجتماع على هامش أعمال مؤتمر السياسات الأمنية في ميونخ، والسبب بحسب قوله هو أن الفيصل وقف وراء استبعاده من لجنة تضم قوى إقليمية أخرى لمناقشة أمن الشرق الأوسط.
نظرا لأن السيد تركي الفيصل شك في نزاهتي، فأنا أود أن أقدم له عرضا شديد البساطة. إذا لم يكن هو من اعترض على وجودي هنا معه، فإني أدعوه لمصافحة يد ممدودة، وإذا كان من الصعب عليك المجيء فإني سأنزل إليك، فهل تقبل ذلك؟
ما كان من الأمير الفيصل سوى التوجه لمصافحة أيالون. السيناتور الأمريكي جو ليبرمان الذي أدرك على الفور أهمية اللحظة لم يدعها تمر من دون تعليق.
أود القول إنني أقدر بشكل كبير هذه المصافحة التي حدثت للتو. أقدرها باعتباري عضوا في مجلس الشيوخ الأمريكي، ولأن إسرائيل والمملكة السعودية حليفان مهمان ومقربان للغاية من الولايات المتحدة، فإنه يحدوني الأمل في أن تقود هذه المصافحة للمزيد من التفاهم بين هذين الحليفين.
الأمير الفيصل وفي جلسة الأسئلة والأجوبة التي تلت المصافحة لم يفته الوقوف أمام الحاضرين والتأكيد على أنه ليس هو الذي اعترض على حضور أيالون، وإن ما حدث كان على الأرجح بسبب سلوك أيالون الفظ مع سفير تركيا لدى إسرائيل.
מה היא עמדתכם באשר לסעודיה? האם היחסים שלכם עם סעודיה השתפרו, והאם יש שיתוף פעולה בין המדינות?
יש לנו הרבה אינטרסים משותפים שאנחנו יכולים לקדם אותם בכלכלה, במדיניות, בתפיסות אזוריות. אני גם מאמין שסעודיה רואה כמונו שיש סכנה גדולה מאוד מהתפשטות הטרור על ידי גורמים קיצוניים. ואני מצפה שהמשטר הסעודי, כמו משטרים אחרים, יפעלו נגד כוחות מסוכנים.
We also have a history of kind of moving in and out of Pakistan. I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago. And we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union. They invaded Afghanistan, and we did not want to see them control Central Asia. And we went to work. And it was President Reagan, in partnership with the Congress, led by Democrats, who said, you know what, sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistani military, and let's go recruit these mujahideen. And let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam. It says, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam. So